There was a time when coal was king here in the Appalachians, but it's not that way anymore. This is the thing to remember, the old times, these old mines. There's not many left. Now, it used to anywhere you went in these Appalachians, these hollers, back roads, even the main roads, you'd see these coal trucks, one right after another, all day and all night too. And you sure didn't like to get behind them. But nowadays, you don't see them anymore. And these old mines used to have these trains, these big unit trains of 100-car trains coming out of these mountains and hollers, carrying this coal. There's a few around, but not in the southern Appalachians like they are the northern Appalachians. They all look like this now, just about. There's coal still here, but there's no market for it. And it's sad too, because a lot of towns built around these old mines. Used to be some big operations around here. Here's some old pictures of them. Big operations. But that's a thing of the past. But these mines, they built these small towns all up and down these rural Appalachians. That's where they come from. That's what built these towns. And that coal mining camps, at every one of these old mines back in the day, they had coal mining camps. People worked and lived on the mining property. Places like this, some better, some worse. Mostly worse than the southern Appalachians. That's just the way it was. Places like this, no insulation, no electricity, no running water back in the day. And many a kid grew up like this, playing along the old railroad tracks, around the old coal camps. Many a kid grew up like this. And these camps had their own schools too, just like the houses. Some better, some worse. But this is what they looked like back in the day. And every little mining camp had a company store. And usually, done a lot of trading there. Unfortunately, a lot of families got indebted to them, to where all you done was just work to pay your bill off every week. And they only had usually water in the community, an old pump here, where everybody'd share their water there in the mining camp, carry it back to the house. And back in the day, they didn't have many cars or anything. They'd walk from their house around the mining property down to the company store. You can see it here. That's just the way it was back in them days. Nobody could afford no car, and if you did, there's no roads for them. And these men worked day after day in these mines. Some big mines, some little mines. But they worked hard in these old mines. It didn't matter, they worked as a team. Them and their animals. They all worked as one. And they got paid in scrip instead of cash. The scrip was only good at the company store. Here's some of the scrip that they used. Different companies. And here at the company store, they'd usually do a lot of trading after they got off their shift work, pay their bill, didn't have nothing left then. And it didn't matter what color you was in these mines. A pick and a shovel don't care what color you are. And the men didn't either, because they all looked the same when they come out of these mines. They all worked hard. And they got tired of it. Now, they tried to get a union in for better conditions and safety and money, and it was a long struggle. But they finally got the UMWA in there. A lot of places still didn't like it, but they did. A lot of places paid a heavy price for unionizing. Here's a picture of it. And here's some of the wages they had back in the 30s. UMW contract, what they made wasn't much. But they did help themselves in the mines their safety, their wages, and stuff like that, and the working conditions. They did help a lot. But it didn't help much at the mining camps. Mining camps were still the same. That was a slow progress to upgrade the mining camps. Here's a picture of them. And like I said, a lot of kids in these mining camps went through the schools there and graduated. Many people can remember this, but that's a ways back. And these old mining camps, some of them were better than others, but most of them look like this in southern Appalachia. That's just the way it was. Just the way it was. Now here's an old picture of a tornado went through a mining camp in Pruden, Tennessee in 1933. 45 people died. You know, it's sad enough that there's tragedy in the mines, a mine explosion or death, but just innocent family members killed by a tornado. Now these mining camps, they lasted up and hung around, and people lived in them up to the 70s, maybe even 80s in some places, but they're all gone now, all tore down. You can't even tell they was there. Now I was up here looking at some of the old mining camp places used to be. I could remember some places still there and buildings, but here's all left of them. They've reclaimed them. You can't even recognize them now. There's an old pillar looks like for a tipple. Nature's reclaiming. But here's an old powder magazine looks like. Old concrete powder magazine. Nature's reclaiming all this stuff. If you didn't know it was there, you'd never know it. And a lot of your newer mines, coal market's gone, they're shut down. They look like this. All up and down these rural Appalachias. That's just the way it is. The only mines I know left in southeastern Kentucky may be in Harlan. Most of them look like this. Just a thing of the past, and most of them are tore down, like I said. You can't even recognize where a mines was at. They've reclaimed them so much. So this is just a little bit of the history of some of these old mining camps. There's so much history to go through. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little video. God bless, and I'll see you next time.